Welcome back to EU5, episode number 3 of the All Countries One Location mod. We are Provence, and we first colonized our own region, expanding as much as we could within there until we got bumped by the Papal States and Genoa. And then we colonized Sardinia, conquered the last of Sardinia, and then we also moved into North Africa, where we have done almost entirely conquering of nations, as we've had the religious CB that we've been able to conquer those of another religion. That has also, though, made it tough to assimilate. We have a weak cultural strength, and it's been hard, really hard, to try to get these lands cored. So, yes, we are gaining money off of trade, 6 ducats a month in the Tunis market, but ultimately we are not making anywhere near the kind of money we need to be making off of this region. I would say we're probably barely offsetting our expenses within the region. We have started pushing to the west now, colonizing in Sus, so that we can eventually break out into the New World and make that really good money that's going to make us much stronger than our neighbors. For now, we're not. We have some size, and ultimately we have some levies, but we have low discipline, which I found is a factor of discipline, is the unity of our nobles. Like, do they all speak the same language? No. Gosh, it's really hard for them to get along and give commands and function as a unit, and therefore they struggle. So discipline's actually really low. So we are suffering penalties from our direction of expansion. And as far as integration goes, you can see we have integrated what we took in Sardinia, but not cored. And the rest of that was what we colonized. Here, we have been able to core the little bit that we did. The 3 locations only that we actually colonized here, but otherwise we have integrated some, are integrating more of. But then we just took a bunch of new additional lands here recently, which creates a lot of unintegrated and virtually no North African cored regions until you get over to the northwest African region. As we have moved into the age of discovery, it is time to start discovering. And to do that, we need 10 ducats a month, which is a huge expense. 10 ducats a month takes a lot out of an economy. Right now, our economy is only not even 20 ducats a month. We will be focusing on the economy and the continued colonization here to the west. If we fill up this region, we will, before we get into exploration, we will try to fill in whatever we can here on the western edge of Iberia. I like this little pocket up here because that can also give you access to this direction a little quicker, a little easier. But ultimately, in the short term, we need to build up our economy. So we're going to do a little bit less conquering of neighbors in the short term, though. I mean, we certainly might do some, like Tunis is still a much weaker enemy around us, but making enemies of Constantine and Annaba yet again, well, that comes with problems that we don't want to be messing around with. So I think we might spend the next, at least, chunk of time being a lot more patient. And as we've entered a new age, there's new institutions. The New World Institution has appeared in Rome. It should get to us very quickly as a result. Is that the same market, or is it one market over? I'm guessing it's one market over. It is. And we are not directly in the Napoli market. We're not trading in the Napoli market, but guaranteed somebody in this region will be trading in the Genova market, or at least you would certainly think or hope so. Maritima is the nation currently in occupying Rome. And we were ready for this one. Our next rebellion, County of Tellus, has emerged. It looks like nobody is joining them. That's going to make it a little bit easier on us. And pike and shot, the next institution has spawned in Napoli. So again, very nearby to us. We will get both of those institutions quickly. We have not picked up any lasting advantage yet, but as we break out of our region where everybody's picking up the institutions quickly, we start going elsewhere, like say the New World, we will be a dominant force and not be threatened by those around us because they'll be so far behind on tech that we can grow and expand elsewhere rapidly. And then through the economic might of that, that's where we're going to be able to compete with our neighbors more so. We now have a 78% war score. It would be 100% here soon. I don't think we're going to need to get to that. Let's go ahead and reclaim all territory. And 21 ducats. I was hoping for a little bit more. I was hoping with Gebes that they could handle something a little bit larger than that, but hey, that's okay. It's more than what we lost over the course of the war, at least. Did lose 466 casualties. It'll take a little bit of time to replace, but nothing drastic. Even right now, we're right on that edge of 4,000 levies. We're now making just over 2 ducats a month profit that we can apply, but again, that's only 20% of the way towards our goal. Tunisia is getting their butt kicked right now by Annaba and Constantine. They are definitely going to lose some land to them. I do have a CB going against Tunis, where we could then try to execute a similar plan, but we'll have to be really careful on how much we take because of Annaba and Constantine breathing down our necks. The further we can go over here, probably the better. For one, it'll help us link up with our western province and add a little more spread maritime presence wise, which doesn't matter much yet, but certainly will in time, and keeps it a little bit further away from at least Annaba, who was kind of the main ones that were angry at us compared to Constantine. And then maybe we'll link this up, but we'll see what sort of takings we can have. Maybe they'll be small enough that we'll end up actually force vassalizing them, which would give us some extra strength without having to deal with rebellions down the road. And Constantine has taken a lot of land off of Tunisia in this region, but that's all. That is all they took. Our CB is ready, and they have 0 troops currently. This is too easy of a prospect. We're not even going to need any large call-ups on this one. So declare war, and I will only call up my local. I'm really proud of. This is going to work out fantastic for us. So for one, we're grabbing this land here, but not all of it, because it's going to make Morocco pretty upset. Constantine and Annaba do not have antagonism because of the coalition war. It wiped it out. It's at 0% where they won that war previously. So they are no longer angry. They're going to be angry again, but we're starting from 0. So they're really not accumulating that much. Then we're connecting up our lands across here, shrinking Tunis down, but definitely not to nothing. That's it for the land acquisition. How that looks on antagonism. Well, Tunis, yeah, they already hate us and they'll hate us more. Argla, continue to hate us, but again, they are tiny. They have 1 location. I don't worry about them. After that, though, we're looking at 2 nations crossing that 40 antagonism threshold. Morocco barely at 42 and Jared at 41. They will drop below that mark very quickly, so this is not too much, and I don't plan on any other offensive wars for a little while, but more importantly, we're going to get war reparations, so they're going to help pay our bills for a while. At the moment, we have a negative balance. But the biggest thing of all for me is they have a bunch of maps that we're going to take. Arabian Sea down here, Sahara Oasis, yeah, that big old boy right there. Northern Ethiopia, Nubia, and Upper Egypt along this coastline here. Big acquisitions. We got it right at that +1 zone. Let's do it. I'm excited. And we're doing that without any extra antagonism. When you steal maps, big no. But when you beat somebody in a war and then just take it as part of your war goals, or peace deal, it's all good. It's all good. 0 antagonism. There you go. There you go. Just like that, we have a wide addition to what we can see. And that That then begs the question of, hey, what about Marrakesh? How the heck did Morocco sneak in behind me to colonize? I don't see how they would have access here. Well, IFNI is not done just yet. It's at 98%. I think that's where your cutoff might occur. There is Jared. Jared is, if they don't have friends, they do not have friends. Can we get a CB on them? Yes, we could. I think taking them out makes a lot of sense. And the coalition is disbanded for now. It was a coalition of one. Tunisia was the only one. So I get the impression that some nations are going to start being capable of looking out. But there is no Castile. I mean, yes, there is Castile. Castile's here. Castile exists. This is not Castile as we know it. This is not 60, 70, 80% of the Iberian Peninsula. This is not a handful of large cities right off the bat. This is not a huge, booming economy. They have a capital with 37,000 in it. If you look around, there's 4,000, there's 2,000, there's 2,000, there's 2,000. They have smaller locations. And while there are going to be groups like us that have a population base, there's not going to be many. Now, our population at 730,000 could be amongst the world's largest. And now I'm actually really curious about that. What do we have? Sort by pops. Egypt, 3 million. France has 2.6 million. But there's a drop to just over 1 million. And we already find ourselves right near the top of the list. Provence. Right behind Genoa. The Papal States, our neighbors. Morocco, our neighbor. 3 neighbors. Toulouse, pretty much our neighbor. France, not far away. Egypt is our neighbor now as well. And then the Byzantines. So we are amongst the big boys, the big players. There is no 30 million, 60 million pops. This is a very different playthrough than a standard one. And we're going to find ourselves with nations with smaller economies as we're about to trigger a rebellion. Once again, at the same location. But having the finances, having a positive plus 10 ducats, I don't think is going to be necessary to start explorations. We're going to have to bide our time, save up some resources, and then be able to fund, take losses, take the hit for a while, and then recover those funds and grow the economy over time. But we need that basis to be able to like explore here and then be able to continue colonizing where others can't reach. And that's what's going to open it up and set us apart, because this area is filling out and colonization is going to stop. We don't want colonization to stop now. Actually, there are still areas within here. So we have a little bit of time before we need to do that. And we can continue saving money, continue saving resources. Tunis is now colonizing here in this pocket. We're going to have to watch out for that one. But rebellion spawned. It's probably not going to be very big, but I would imagine they're going to have enough. It's a large enough area that we're going to want to, yeah, they got 1,700. We're going to want to go ahead and call up the main force. So I've amassed a force of 4,000. They should have no problem retaking things as we go along, and then hopefully we can get a decent amount of ducats out of this in the process. And we've got ourselves a 99% war score. It's on the verge of having everything you can have, but instead of taking a peace deal right now, at 97.62, the Tunisian lands are about to break out into a rebellion as well. So we can actually take advantage. Nice might actually end up joining them. Oh, hello. Let's go beat up on their forces then. Get a little bit of time. Make sure they don't take anything back. There we go, stack wipe. Sweet. Now we can head up there. Well, this is new. I'm assuming part of the 1.1 update. They're not triggering. I've gone through like 3 months of them at 100% and nothing's happening. Let's go ahead and peace out. Only 27 ducats, but hey, at least we're back to a positive balance here. There we go. Now it spawns. and they did not get support. Stack wiped their group from here. They got a small group up in this other region, but without support, this is going to be over very, very quickly. And we'll be looking at Kabyle, which is here. And we've been, or had been anyway, coring, but we never did finish assimilating that one. So that whole region probably will. 28 ducats extra on this one, bring us up close to 400, meaning I think we can actually fund the first exploration project now and not have to wait. The first project that I want to do is the extension of Sus on down. I know that there's plenty of land that's impassable terrain, but some of it is going to be connected. We have the manpower, we have the 101 ducats up front, and then it's going to be done. Annaba and Constantine are going to war with somebody. Ooh, it's Morocco and Iran. One of them being friends with one another. There's the Iran, very small nation, just a few locations. Morocco, of course, is huge, but look at them beating up on each other early on. It's Morocco versus Constantine and Annaba on this one. So it looks like Constantine and Annaba are backing Iran. That's fantastic that they are going to inflict some damage upon one another. It'd be nice if it's pretty balanced and they both bring each other down one giant peg, because they all three of them are amongst our biggest foes. All right, preparations are complete. The exploration is not going to take very long at all. Just 2 years to complete. It'll be done in October, which is the month it is now, 2 years down the road. We're losing 5.5 ducats a month, but we're only doing that at times 24, which means we're only going to lose 125-ish ducats, maybe 127. So we'll have plenty of money left. And one small rebellion breaking out right there. We'll go ahead and just grab the local levies, or maybe the 1,000 here I know is enough. We can transport them across quickly enough. Just shy of 1,000 Sardinian military forces. We are going to finish this thing off here quick and easy. 100% war score. We can also cover a couple months of our losses that we're taking on the exploration, which is already down to 17 months. And that war ended really quick. It looks like they didn't take anything off of Constantine themselves, though they might have. They might have taken just a tiny bit, like here, like Sharif or something, but they did take what Iran had. All of Iran. And we have our next outbreak of rebellion. We're getting plenty of those these days, but it's only 4 locations, and it looks like nobody has joined in with them. They have not, so should be easy enough to deal with. In fact, local, they got 800. They've got 800. Might take a little bit more than what I expected. Well, they marched right away from us. We're going to be able to just come in right behind them without a fight, and that's going to save us on the attrition here quite a bit. As we've picked up a CB, I can't do anything about it. Well, I have levies raised, so never mind. Our single location down here. I'm going to try to clean up all of these OPMs on the interior. Now only a 10 ducat gain on this one. Not even making up for the expenses we have right now. Covers just over 1 month. But we are down to just 1 month until the exploration is complete. Argla is tiny. Absolutely tiny. So yes, we're going to go ahead and declare war on them. They are not part of a coalition. There is no coalition right now. And that's an easy one. Job done. 10 ducats to go with it. Very quick job. Also, at the same time, we have just finished our exploration down here. To our surprise, Morocco, who actually, I think, fair game that they probably already, Tunisia and Morocco probably already had knowledge, at least down to here. Maybe not beyond, but to here. Tan being actively colonized by both Tunisia and Morocco, we'll stay away from that. It's just an 18-month process to go ahead and explore the coastline here. We're already colonizing anyway, even without that knowledge. So we'll go ahead and take care of this one, though. Oof, that has to be local. We'll find out here real quick if they are capable. So far so good. They seem to have everything they need. It's the market as a whole, not just what we produce. And Morocco's doing just fine on things. I think our spread's finally high enough for meritocracy to be a really cheap thing. 10 ducats and 6.5 stability is all it's going to take to get meritocracy, which was that first age one that nobody gets, and eventually it comes around. And yeah, here's our eventually comes around. As for that spread, pike and shot's already in our borders. 4% has it. Printing press has not spawned yet. Spawned it. Oh, Wushan. It spawned in China. Oh, buddy. It's going to take a very long time for printing press to get over here. But we will have New World and pike and shot. And into that loss period. But again, it's shorter this time. In fact, it's going to be even less time. Just 9 months to complete. And Tunis is once again trying to start up a coalition with our truce having expired, which means it might not be a bad idea to get after them once again. We'll start building that spy network, especially before they have anybody who wants to join in on it. And there we go. Our exploration is complete. We still have 81 ducats left, but for whatever reason, we've taken an additional hit. Cost of court went up a lot. About a ducat and a half higher for some reason. Diplo spending, I guess, would be a factor as well, as we're trying to build a CB. And we've unlocked the Inquisition law through research. By giving up control to the papacy, we can make everybody 1% happier, all of the estates, and still get a pop conversion speed of plus 10%. We'll go ahead and take that one. Right now, Toulouse is in a little bit of trouble with, it looks like France. Yes, they are at war. But I think it's more of their supporting one of their weaker friends. Toulouse is quite strong, so we're going to go ahead and offer an alliance with them. Great for our defense. Even if they lose a little territory out of this, not that I think they will, that gives us a really good support option. Portugal got their butts kicked by Sevilla, though they have one location left for Portugal. Rebellion ended, 30 ducats to go with it. We're still at 75% for our next rebellion and not growing rapidly. The one behind that is also at a 0, so we've got ourselves a little bit of a break before we're going to see any more. We've cleaned up the rebellion situation at least a bit. And then as for the integration, well, that's still going to take a while, but we're looking at 5,400 now for those levies. That's all getting better. Making some progress. Where we're not making progress was through something. Something happened. Well, a few things happened, and I kind of know some of it anyway. Our cost of court went up drastically, like doubled, from about 4.5 ducats a month to more than 8. That, in part at least, was diplomacy. We were trying to make friends with Toulouse to become allies. We are now an ally, so that's good. But then we also just made a CB against Jared, which is 3 locations right here in this little corridor. So we're going to look to take them on soon. But we're also building a spy network on Tunis once again to take a little more territory off of them here with that time factor. So that is part of the reason, but I don't see why that would have led to doubling the cost of court. Certainly increasing it while we were doing 3 activities at once. We're down to just 1. And it did bring the cost down a bit, maybe still a ducat and a half to 2 ducats a month more than what it was. Wow, you can see Toulouse, their levies are absolutely beat up thanks to France. While we're starting our war, I just noticed that Genoa is sieging down Sicily, so they're in trouble. could be losing some land unless they are just an ally to somebody else. As I just lost my like 4th cabinet member in a few months, and oh, that is an atrocious rating. We're gonna have to move them off of integrating. No way we're gonna get anywhere with an 11. Looks like Jared has just 300 troops, and they've gone the opposite direction of the direction that I have chosen, and therefore we should have an easy time just going and sieging this down without losing our troops. So I'm going to do something a little bit different for this particular war. Instead of sieging down and taking the land, there's just 3 locations. The value is very low. Taking them isn't going to gain us anything significant, so we're going to take 1 location for now and increase the antagonism by next to nothing. Push in just slightly. Later on we're going to come back and take more, but the reason why we're taking 1 right now is because, you know, now that I figured out, hey, I could take maps through war, and oh wait, if the nation doesn't exist anymore, I can't take maps off of them. They still have to exist. I have to leave land behind. So I can take quite a few maps. I could get the Air, Butana, Central Ethiopia, Kordofan, Gao, Kanem, and Timbuktu. That's a lot of maps. That is a lot of maps. That's going to open things up in Africa quite a bit. Really happy for that right now. Maps are much more valuable than a couple small locations. It's a 99 war score. That is 7 maps and 1 location and 10 ducats. Ooh, did that open up North Central, the Saharan region, right? Really opened things up for us. Really excited to now know what is around us and, you know, be able to start kind of pushing in. And these guys are so weak. So weak. This is not going to be the normal Western Africa. And you could see it's not. There's going to be so much, look at this, all this colonizable land around here because they had such weak economies. Like Songhai. Songhai has 2 locations. Bambara has a little bit, and it's going to take off if we can't get in there soon. But this was nice. Our levies are a 3-to-1 advantage over Tunis. However, they've got a massive naval advantage, which could make it really difficult for us to get 2/3 of our troops over to where we can get the job done against Tunis. They have gotten rid of, it looks like, the 2 castles that they had, so we hurt their economy enough the last time. Without those castles, it's going to be much easier to just go siege down Tunis and kind of be done with it. But let's go ahead and give it a shot. Meanwhile, Annaba is losing their war, so I'm really happy to see that. Sicily looks like they've gotten out of their war without losing anything. I think they might have been a support player in that war. And we've beaten back their main force. That should be enough to start gaining control. We did get most of our troops across. We've got 1,000 left in our capital, and that they've gone to block siege that down. Wow, look at Annaba struggling. Very nice. We're definitely not going to get a 100% war score here, but we'll get something decent enough. And their main force joined by others. I had to then join in as well. Ultimately, the losses were about the same, but we do win the battle here. We're actively sieging down Tunis right now, and then the castle here. I think once we control this region, that should be enough to be able to claim most of it without having to go bother with what's over here. Yeah, we have a 60% war score even now. I think once we siege or take control of these, I think that'll be enough war score while standing over the castle. Yeah, there you go. 76%. That should be enough. What do they have for maps? Oh, they have maps too. They do have maps. So this might be a little bit more of a map situation here as well. Peace deal imminent with a bunch of maps. Again, I'm so happy I found that this is a way to learn about what's out there in the world as opposed to spending all that precious money on it. Peace deals against weaker nations in particular. Wow, what a fantastic idea. You just can't full annex. That's kind of the big key here. So we're only taking a little bit of land, a couple locations here. We have a few locations here and 2 locations here. Ultimately, that's it. 5 ducats. That's a 10 on the war score. And then I believe that means I'm taking 9 maps, because each one of them counts as 10 on war score as well. Leaves me on a +2, but 100 can't go higher. And yes, 9 maps. That is 9 maps that we are stealing off of Tunis. Super happy about that. And here is how it's looking. They did not have this map. Neither one of them have had this map. We're going to need to get after somebody else to do that, but we will continue to, make that effort to get along there, but that just pulls it down even further. We're all the way already into Mali. That's fantastic, and that also cleared up all but the last little pieces here of Yemen. And that ends the coalition once again, and the antagonism was really low from this, so we are not going to be picking up a new coalition off of this other than Tunisia. When the time comes, we'll try to start it up on their own once again, or at least I think they would. Yeah, and we're getting a lot closer to being able to full annex Tunisia. But if they can keep growing just a little bit, like if they can take Sifex, I'd be happy to have that, because it would close this area off, at least once you get here anyway. It would close it off from others being able to come in and eventually colonize that interior ourselves. This might be a really good time to also try to get after Annaba, who is now a vassal of Constantine. Okay, no wonder you don't have a big war score end yet, because they're just a vassal. They were the stronger one. How is their troop strength? It's non-existent. And then Tlemcen and then Granada wouldn't even join. Man, that is such an opportunity for us. Now, this was our big enemy, and they've been beat up. So build that spy network. We don't need to take it day one. They're not going to recover that fast, especially if this war is prolonged a bit longer. Morocco's going to be the big enemy we're going to have to watch out for. So just how much stronger are they? Right now, antagonism's about a 30 with Morocco. We're only a fair bit weaker, but how much is a fair bit? Holy cow, 23,000 troop strength? Well, 1,000 regulars could go a long ways. They are one of those nations with 1 million plus. We're up to 848. The only rebellion right now in our way, as the next is at 73% and not gaining too fast. And then 59 to the next one. And we should be able to have cleared it just like that. And we have 2 ducats and rebellion done in a matter of days. We only had to pull up our Sardinian levies. With the economy really stalling out, I think ducats and those maps are the most important things right now. But expansion-wise, OPMs, one province miners, those are the ones you want to just absorb. So Mzab is the next one, and they have just a small number of troops. They should be easily acquired, and we have location to here, though Constantine is partially surrounding them, but we do have access to their lands through here, so we will be able to take it, absorb it, and cut off Constantine ultimately from being able to push into central regions further up into the desert. Now have access to 6,000 levies. We're definitely not going to need all of them, but we're going to need 1,000 or more, and so far we're not getting there. I mean, we've got maybe 500 so far. Yeah, looks like we're gonna have to call on a little bit more. We'll get the Sardinians. We know there's plenty there, and there you go, there's our 1,000 plus. Alright, so we've amassed a group of 2,400, and there is their 617. Now 583 as they're stuck in the desert here. They're staying put in the desert. If we wait a little bit longer, one, I'll have full morale, and two, they will take additional attrition there, and then we'll be able to just kind of march right on through on them. That'll be easier. Wait for the turn of the month. 583 drops to 554. We just got to watch out being there on the first. We lost 98. It's a little bit we need to recover, but that is job done. And I think we're going to stay in Orgla for a month. Or for the turn of the month anyway. And then we'll head to their capital. Those two locations. Yeah, you can definitely see this is where we would have been. We would have taken that attrition too. Time things right. You take less attrition, less losses. Save those lives, save those levies for a bigger war later on. And we had enough supply with us that we were able to get there and get the job done with only the 98 casualties. Nothing more, 100% war score. Now, do we have the map we need to make me change my mind? No, it looks like they have all kind of the same maps. So in this case, we'll just make them disappear off the map, taking the land and the 10 ducats that we're able to get. Well, we're getting sucked into a foreign war because of our union. Croatia is the target. The attacker looks awfully weak or small anyway, for what they're trying to take on, which is Hungary, Croatia, Naples, ourselves, and it looks like they're ally in Trieste, or their vassal in Trieste, whichever it is. But our forces are rather inferior overall, and I think we'll try to just stay out of this and see how it transpires. They've got Salzburg, Imola, Gurk, Ortenburg, Lika. Naples somehow has the ability, has the access to just march right on through. A lot of these nations are headed right for Imola. Well, we were seeing for us in North Africa with Annaba, and just how horribly unbalanced our forces were, just how drastically different our discipline was compared to Annaba, and how massively it was making a difference. Well, right now the enemy forces are just rolling through Croatia and Napoli, who are both really, really weak in comparison, similar to what we were encountering. It looks like this one is going to be a loss for Croatia for sure. Looks like Constantine and Tunis are actively at war with one another. We still have a truce for just over a year with Tunis. I have a CB on Constantine, but they are too strong right now. They've already recovered from that previous war in a way. Now, if Tunis can do a number on them, then we could turn around and attack. If they can cause some harm to one another, realistically, it could set us up. Otherwise, Tunis is in some big trouble at the moment. A couple of things are happening. For one, we're actually making good profit for the first time in ages. Almost 2.5 ducats, better than 2 ducats regularly. We're approaching 1 million pops, but we still got a ways to go on that. We can get a little more land here off of Jared. We could take one more location and steal maps off of them, and then save until the truce is done to get the last spot, or finish them off here, knowing that a lot of the maps that they're going to have left are in this region and really not important to us in the short term. But we'll look to see if maybe there's some additional African maps, as I'm looking to make a push through the Sahara into this West Africa region, as we can't afford to get there through exploration, and especially because then when we can afford some exploration, we can use it to push towards New World, towards South America, towards Brazil, for all of that silver and gold that comes in that area. We have hit a point where we're starting to make really good money off of this Tunisia market, but only through trade. And even then, we're not actually collecting the 9.93 ducats. We're definitely getting less than that, because we only have so much crown power. So that's the overall money being made, but our crown power is only allowing us to bring in 16% of that. Well, the war has arrived on my doorstep, marching through Genoa. You can see that Naples is currently sieging down lands in Imola, but a combined force of, it was 3K, it's down to 2,600, is now on our shores, and our local Provence area and Sardinia area troops have combined to give me 5K. We'll see if this force is strong enough to take them on. It is hills there. Okay, it looks like we can and should win. Let's wait just a second. Get that morale all the way up before we march. There we go. First thing is we've inflicted 21 casualties with taking none ourselves, as we've got the highest initiative this flank up to maximum already. But they've got a really strong commander for one thing. And what is our comparison? They have a huge morale advantage, more than 1.0. They have a huge tactical advantage, more than well over a quarter of a point. Discipline is at least similar. This is possibly going to be a win, but it's not going to be a domination. The initiative thing here helping a little bit early on. Yeah, big early advantage, but I think as they get themselves established on the front, it's going to shift. There we go. Advantage done. 200 ahead early on, but it's not going to last. We just have more than twice their numbers. All right, they've got two fronts that are not well numbered. Everybody's committed already. We're more than, or almost 3,000 units ahead, and that's the big difference. 600 on the casualties advantage, and hopefully we can get a nice 8-6 roll. Oh, that's a rough one. 110. They're going to gain a lot of ground on us. There we go. Starting to take advantage. Their flank has fallen. Ultimately, we've done really well with this fight. Taking it to them. There you go. Full stack wipe. Full stack wipe with just 682 casualties. That was big. Okay, not full stack wipe. They did escape. Two units looks like, but really just one unit has escaped. Let's go take our own lands back first and foremost. That helped flip the war score a little bit. Our direction, it was minus 29, I think, before that fight. And the war is lost, but we didn't take any major losses. It looks like, yeah, we're okay. We are okay. They liberated a couple of areas, so it didn't impact us directly, but look at that acquisition there. Big old push inland. All right, we've got our rebellion, our active rebellion, the only one. We have one that's barely gaining anymore, though I think it'll gain a little bit more once this war is over. 83%, so no problem there. We've got that under control. And we're able to add 40 ducats, which is really welcome with how the economy is kind of hurting for us. That's the best way to make money off of this region right now, is rebellions, as the area does make money. We're just not really getting any of it without any ability to integrate, and assimilation rate is terrible for us. We are really gaining so slowly with everything. But anyway, 40 ducats. The war between Tunis and Constantine has ended with Annaba and Constantine, actually no, just Constantine taking all of this region and this region off of Tunisia, and leaving them only with two little locations right here. That's all that's left of Tunisia. So they really took a lot. There should be some sort of coalition against them, but there's not going to be. See, we're at very similar levels, but they are much stronger. Our combat power is a 5. Their combat power is a 17. It says they have 11,000. I don't know where that comes from, but even then, that's less than twice, but more than 3 times the combat power. So, confirmation that they are just much stronger. Now, Toulouse could join, but can I trust that they're going to get their 30,000 over there? That they're going to be able to transport them? I doubt it. They have no navy, so it's entirely possible, but I think that's a really, really risky move to try to take them on. So I've really discovered kind of what's the core problem that I'm having and why I can't grow out the economy. And ultimately, it comes down to having so much territory that's not cored. We're not collecting enough off of it. You look on the surface and go, well, but there's 9 ducats coming out of Tunis in trade. There isn't really 9 ducats of trade, right? We are only getting the 16% from that. And without also collecting taxes in those regions, the cost of the court is what's really hurting us. Right, 8 ducats a month with a really low rating. I mean, our legitimacy is only at a 52. We ultimately have an economic base for our nation that's pretty strong. A way that I can maybe take care of this is to vassalize some of this. I'm just really nervous about vassalization. It doesn't seem to work properly. If we vassalize and have them be of our religion and culture somehow, and slowly make that conversion happen themselves and integration happening themselves, then, well, for one, they'll actually feed us some money and our cost of court is going to go down. I'm going to try. It's something that it's a mechanic I haven't messed around with much. Those who are masters at the game seem to be having a little more success with it. So I'm going to see what taking a region here that's not yet like here. If we can take this and turn it into a vassal, see how much it does to lower the cost of the court, how much it does to raise some sort of funding for us, and will it ultimately make us better off? Because I know we're going to lose some of our trade value coming in, but I don't think it's going to hurt that much, and I think it's actually going to end up saving money. All right, so I've made a vassal, Mistrata, across the 2 states, 2 provinces here, but right now they are Eastern Amazigh and Sunni, which isn't going to do us good in the long term. I think this is a good way to start making some money. Their loyalty is at just 50%. I think what I want to do is try to set this up in such a way we are going to enforce religion on them, which will last for 10 years. They're going to have high liberty desire in the short term, and some will definitely convert to Catholicism immediately. So we're going to go ahead and enforce religion. Well, already we've turned a negative balance into a positive balance, but it's not with a decreasing cost of court, is it? That cost of court has actually gone up. And just like that, they've started an independence movement, but of course I'm not surprised after what we've done. Well, our truce with Jared expired. We're going to go to war with them once again, and with just 448 we should be able to do this with local troops in the region. Risky one. We have an almost 2-to-1 advantage on this and definitely should win, but especially when they have virtually no flank. There we go. Both flanks fallen. Now we will dominate the fight. So yes, this is definitely going to be a win, but we're taking some casualties. Close to 100 of them. Looks like over 100, yeah. Before this thing is done anyway. But with that decided, we will get the win here against Jared in just a moment. Now the question is, do we take one more location off of them, saving them that last one, and stealing some additional maps and ducats? Yeah, probably. So we could take the southern location off of them, and every single map that they have that we do not, which is almost entirely this region out here, but Yemen, and 1 or 2 more inland ones here, so something beneficial. That puts me at a 94 without ducats. Maximum ducats is only 10, and for some reason it's coming in small scale, where we're going to get 2.5 ducats instead of 10, but 2 more maps out of it. Well worth the trade-off for only giving up 7.5 ducats. The one location left to take the next time. So we open up this area a little bit. We open up the inner Somalia area, and then you can see we've kind of opened things up through here a fair bit. And with our war done, we are getting called into a war for Toulouse. Looks like it's not necessarily on our doorstep, so we'll be okay on this one. Papal States on our side. Yes, the Papal States is on our side. Toulouse struggling. Actually, they've lost. Oh, that's regulars. They're relying on some regulars for this one. Okay. But it looks like a lot of forces are still being called up right now, so this war has just begun. I'm not going to call up all my forces, but I'll call up the forces here. Well, so far 2 sieges, even though I think we got there first. We're now... Papal States have attached themselves to our army, so anywhere we go, they have the larger force. They're going to end up getting priority, so we're helping. War score pretty quickly going in a healthy direction. The target nation is completely under control. Other nations like Brittany are well under control, but Flanders have snuck an army all the way around, but it's now being chased down by these 13,000. They were standing inside our borders, and they were too large for us to deal with the number of troops that I have called up. At this point, there's almost zero hope of getting 10% anything under our own control. And even when I do a siege myself, Toulouse comes in at the last minute, and they end up getting the occupation and not us, so we're not even picking up any individualistic war score. War score is currently on a plus 70 and growing, and there's really no opposition force, so I've gone ahead and sent my levies home so they can start recovery, and we can cheapen our costs a little bit, as we were sitting on about 100 ducats, and just like that we're right back down to 30 as we took some negative for the combination of the estates, the assembly meeting, and then the new law passing. And actually that was 130 ducats, and then had to spend to create the law, and then over the course of getting it passed was costly. Anyway, 80% war score. This thing's all but done. We're just looking at Flanders, now 85% war score. It's time to finish off Tunis once and for all. For one thing, they're the only one with high antagonism. This would eliminate them from that being a problem. There's only 2 locations left too, so there's not much left in order to finish them off. It's also going to allow us to choose a new rival as we maybe turn our direction into this West African region like Songhai or something. Most of these guys have barely been able to go anywhere. Mali is starting to take off. Hausa is starting to take off, but kind of one location. Fez, Tenmeka. Songhai has 2, right? Tendokogo have 3 or 4. That's all. So we could definitely make a quick move through that region, and if Mali is not strong, it says we're perfectly balanced, but who knows what they actually have. But you get into those nations, we should be able to start getting those maps through here pretty quickly, and that's going to allow us to colonize down there. The possible coalition situation, there's other nations like maybe even Morocco that would be far more interested in becoming an ally instead of an enemy. Small Tunisian force stack wiped with just 6 losses. And bonuses for the commander, like that part. And Tunis will no longer exist. We got a 100% war score quickly and easily. The antagonism 8 for Morocco is not going to hurt us. 2, well, about 3 for Marrakesh. Not going to hurt us, but only 10 ducats, sadly. But that clears our antagonism board. The War of Toulouse has finally come to an end. They've only taken 4 locations, but through all of those nations, they kind of pieced them out one by one with a lot of war reparations, a lot of annulling alliances and a lot of ducats. So very much a financial war more than anything else. So the subject we've created, we haven't seen any big financial change at this stage, though I do seem to be actually making more in Tunis, and maybe that's, well, let's see, Anaba's making the most, or second most. Trade capacity is not that high here. What I have noticed is Misrata is making progress. Their capital is Catholic. Location next to it is now Catholic. It's still Sunni in the others. That one's now Catholic. Last I just checked that, it was still Sunni. So they are making progress when it comes to the conversions. What we need now is to get the cultural ideology also fixed. Well, with Tunisia destroyed and the war come to an end, we can declare a new rival. We can only have one at a time, as we are a very small nation still. All right, we're going to go ahead and set up Constantine, as we already have this Constantine Annaba situation, as they are our primary proper rivals. The obstacle between us really closing or controlling this region, other than Morocco also being a bit of a threat. So the HRE is, well, in all essence, broken. There has been no leader for over 100 years, and without a leader, nothing's getting voted on, so there's no bonuses for being part of the HRE, and we're on the outer edge of it anyway. I'm going to go ahead and leave the HRE. One of the things holding us back is we are just a county. Getting to be a duchy would give us better culture capacity, better prestige, better diplo range, capacity, a great power score bonus, which would definitely help our rank. We're only at 495. And adding a couple possible rivals, which is going to have its own benefits as well. One of the complications with that was we were part of the HRE and couldn't, without a leader, couldn't get the permission we needed to do so. We also lacked the prestige, but I just had an event. I had two events, actually. We had about 18 prestige, and we were really close, and I was looking at that, trying to get to the 25 and then do what else we needed to do. And then we had a negative event that put us back at 0. But then through our recent wars, we were at about 8 on prestige, and we just had a positive event that gave us 20 prestige, now putting us at 28, giving us the 25 prestige we need to promote to a duchy. All that's missing is the 114 ducats, and even though I don't want to take a loan for 90 ducats, that is going to come with its own complications. The rank comes with benefit, and that prestige is not going to stick around for very long. So what I'm going to do is we are going to go ahead and take one loan. It's only one. It's only 7%. We'll survive. We'll pay it off. And there it is. We can upgrade to a duchy. As for what the next rank would look like, a kingdom, we need to get to 2 million pops. And the primary religion's a big part of that. We only have a third of our country in the primary religions. We'd have a lot of work to do on conversions and assimilations, which of course we're trying, but it's hard. Prestige also needs to get up to a 50 to make that happen, plus the ducats. Never mind the ducats for now, but definitely work to be done if we are going to get to that next rank. But this is a nice little bonus for us. Now we just need to turn around and pay off the loan and go ahead and add our rivals. Apparently my strength is now over 8,000 in levies. Fezzan has over 1,000. Just another OPM, just a one location one. And we can access it, so we're going to try to take them out here and now in our attempt to move south. But as you can see, Morocco has been pushing their way southeast, and we're on the verge of getting cut off by them. We're going to need to get after like Kanem early or do some colonizing ourselves to secure a pathway down into West Africa via land. Well, I've got 1,300. They've got 11. I'm trying to time things right. We're going to wait to cross at the beginning of the month so that we can hopefully get there in time and not take any casualties on the way. Meanwhile, they are actively taking attrition waiting in the desert, which means we're going to be patient and wait for them. With a fairly close balance for this fight, I'm letting the attrition do a number on them, let them take 50 casualties a month. I think when they get down to maybe 7 or 800, then we'll wipe the floor with them and finish the job on this one. We definitely have an advantage, though not a huge one. But they are only centralized, so we were able to hit them on the flank. And they're losing a lot more than we are, but that's 100 casualties here, which was why I wanted to wait, be patient. I could have waited even longer. And there we go. We've not taken them out yet, and the month's half done. Let's go ahead and retreat back. Constantine's forces and their tiny little vassal Tlemcen are at nothing. They have 0 troops. Perfect timing there. Annaba does have a force, so he would have at least a little bit of an obstacle. We wouldn't be able to walk all over them. Well, I ended up taking on a second loan, but my finances are looking a lot better right now, and we're able to pay one of those off, which really cuts down that interest rate. We're making almost 5 ducats a month right now, but 140 ducats to go to pay it off. It's a different state than we've been in for a good long while here. That big old event of forcing religion, the penalty for it is still there, but it's down to a 34. So Liberty Desire slowly but surely is getting where it needs to be. The opinion's really high, and once we can get that Liberty Desire low enough, we can go and flip culture then too, meaning ultimately we are getting coring out of this. We'll be able to reabsorb them at some point, or just have them be happy as a vassal. So we'll probably want to give them additional lands here at some stage so that they can core those for us as well. And we now have 1 million pops, by the way. I just noticed that. I'm almost out of research, so we need to check on the institutions and see how that spread is going. And we certainly have some. New World Printing Press are spreading. Already has everything too, so it's starting to bring it into us. I don't know how we're not getting more, as we are actively trading with these countries, and massive negative event here. We could spend 91 ducats and end up taking on another loan probably. Okay, we're gonna end up doing it. We're not paying off the loan right now, but let's see if we can avoid getting a second loan. Oh, come on, why did it give me a loan? I didn't have a negative balance. According to this, 0.03. 0.03. And we're going to end up with a whole lot of additional debt and interest to pay off over a 0.03. Yeah, 39 extra ducats to pay off. Morocco willing to pay us for military access. I'll go ahead and take that. I know what they're doing here. They want to go after Annaba. They've got the score already anyway. Let's go ahead and pay off that first loan. But man, that sucks that we had that stupid 0.03 difference. But let's also... And Annaba's forces are suddenly all but destroyed. So yes, Constantine's going to lose something here to Morocco. But we're going to be able to sneak in right after and also take something. We are already at 9% for the CB. And there you go. They have their peace with these lands going to Morocco. Morocco has decided to name us their rival. That's definitely not what we wanted. There is a call for a crusade, but who is it against? Well, we've made enough progress to get debt free. So without that, it's another 60 cents a month that we're recovering here. We were at $1.12 on the ducats when we had 2 loans. So Definitely better there. The cost of court's still turned down though, and we're gonna have to fix that. Diplomatic spending was turned off, and that's the main reason why we have the profit that we have right now. Well, our CV against Constantine is ready. Now, we know that Constantine and Annaba have much higher discipline than what we have. Part of that's a factor of having a very, very widespread cultural diversity within our nation. We have low discipline because we can't communicate very well amongst our troops. Toulouse is willing to join this war if they contribute fully. If their troops make it into the area, we should be able to win completely and get a 100% war score and take at will, especially Annaba, because I don't worry about enemies forming from that. Sicily is about the only one close. It's further away from Morocco. Constantine will certainly take a few key pieces like connecting up our northern shore, connecting up our southern locations with one another, and just kind of cleaning up some borders, connecting up, here, probably taking that one away just because it's an odd one, connecting up across here so that we can march across, especially with Venice taking lands away from us there, through colonization, and then definitely connecting up down here. But otherwise, largely taking off of Annaba. Annaba is the stronger of the pair, or at least when we fought them previously. If Toulouse does not come over fully, we might do a little hit and run strategy, try to get all the troops we can. We've got to be really careful about the naval situation, but try to get all of the troops that we can present, but then kind of hit and run, and at some point just staying away from their armies and trying to siege down all that is easy and getting all the war score we can that way, as opposed to engaging in combat, because we know how much stronger they are than us. Okay, treaty honored. Constantine has joined. We need to rush back to Marseille here, and we need to call everybody up. There's their navy on the opposite shoreline to where we need them to be, so they could be late to the party. Gonna have to be careful here early on, and all the troops coming over here in North Africa, we're gonna have to try to sync them up as quickly as possible and keep them. All right, we can get 2,500. That's pretty good. That's not everybody though. Yeah, see, thanks to Venice, we can't even move these troops in to join the fight. There's 1.5K right there. There's another almost 400 there. So nearly 2K of our troops are isolated. And then, amazingly, territory-wise, this is the most. Yet we've only got, I think it's like Toulouse does have some forces moving to the south, though right now they have not. There we go. Ships are on the move. Yes, ships have made it back, so we're able to pick up the rest of our main force. Okay, sweet. They've made it without incident. And again, they are definitely moving plenty of troops, and they've got ships coming around. All right, we've already lost track of one of their armies. There it is. Constantine has 1.4K. Give him a commander. We got 3,600. We got over 6K here. Over 6K. Load up what we can, which is 2.5. So it's still looking at 3 trips. There we go. Navy has picked up a little over 1K. Two heavies and 4 lights. Okay. They are trying to control things, and meanwhile, there's troops ready to come over. And it looks like they're able to carry a little bit at a time. But if they can control, there's their troops. That seems to be all of their forces. And at the moment, anyway, these guys running away is probably a smart bet. Mostly transports, but there is 2 heavies. And they've got us badly outnumbered, and we have nothing but transports. But there's 4,800. It's just levies from Toulouse, but that is 4,800 additional troops in the area. I don't know how strong their troops are. I know how weak ours are. Alright, we have more troops They have ships down here, so we don't want to go that way, but we have both of their units are well down here to the south, which is good. It opens up that north to us right now. To siege. We will disband them for now. They don't stand a chance. And we got to keep an eye out for that group because our 1200 doesn't stand a chance either. Plus 14 right now. Plus 14. Don't know if that's enough to take anything. But as Toulouse is here, I'm hopeful that they are strong enough. They are standing by, so apparently they're afraid of our 7,000. Okay, they've pulled back away from us, but they were very much interested. Oh, nice. Oh, yes. Okay, I've lost track of where one of their armies is. And the other is moving east. They're both moving east. There's an extra 475 for us. Move towards us. Move towards us. Join together. Join together. Please, oh please. Oh, wow. They just wiped the floor with that army. And that was two very similar size forces. Meaning I don't think I stand much of a chance if they come after me. I can't retreat very far. I have to go into our lands and then try to just run away. But I think I should be hanging out with their forces. There they are getting cooked. But here's 6,000 taking them on, and 6,000 beat them. 6,000 Toulouse forces were able to beat them, in which case, let's go siege that capital. They only have 31 left. And we might be able to just catch them out here and stack wipe them. Constantine, at least Constantine is gone. At least Constantine is gone. Annaba still exists, but Constantine's army is completely wiped out. And there is Annaba's force. Toulouse, better morale. Toulouse, identical tactics. No bonus, which Annaba has, but Toulouse has 25% discipline to the 18 for Annaba. I think I have like 12. And they're down to 52, which means we can split in half. And we just stack wiped Annaba's force. They have nothing left. We can afford to split again. And of course I sieged it down, but Toulouse, who showed up at the literal last second, gets credit. We're going to get a nice peace deal out of this. For one, Annaba is going to barely exist. They're going to have one state left, making them no longer a threat. Then Constantine's going to be greatly weakened. We're going to connect up the land here, connect up the land here, take away that last little piece there, trapping them inland, taking away any naval threat that they would be. And with how small Annaba would be, I don't think they're going to maintain much of a navy after this, though I'm sure they'll still have some, but it'll be a lot more manageable. But then not only connecting this, but also taking these lesser lands. None of this is great. This is all low colonization, just over 1,000. But what we're ultimately doing here, and why I stopped from taking additional territory, is the antagonism piece. Because what we're looking at is Annaba and Constantine very much hating us and being large enemies. But we are going to shrink them both down. Constantine will recover some, but I would think Morocco is going to continually take more land off of them and will be able to turn around and take more land off of them again later on. What we have as for coalition is 4 nations, 40 plus, but Jared, right at 40, Tafilalt, Tuat are OPMs, one province miners, not a big deal. They are not a threat. We can easily deal with each of them if they were to join a coalition. The only threat here is Morocco. And I think at 46, we have a truce with Annaba, we have a truce with Constantine. I don't think Morocco is going to start a coalition with so low antagonism when nobody else is going to join in. Now, if by time the truce expires, Annaba and Constantine and Morocco, the three of them collective, might want to do a coalition and knock us down a peg. But by time the truce expires, Morocco will not have that 40 antagonism. Fingers crossed. they have no interest in joining any sort of coalition or starting a coalition against us. So I am taking on that little bit more in the expectation that they are going to not care for much longer. Plus, Toulouse would jump to our defense, as would, I think, Naples with the Union. So we would have some defensive help, therefore making Morocco not want to do something, and then we can see that antagonism fade out quickly enough. We are pushing a 100. We're going to take one map, which did take away about 15 ducats, but I think the trade-off for one map for 15 ducats to open this area up in Sind is worth it. And then ultimately 165 ducats is I think that is our best war so far. It's our best war so far. You can see just how strong Provence suddenly is in the region. But Venice, sneaky, coming in, taking that land away from us as we nearly had it cut off, but we just could not colonize through that stretch. And I'm liking how Misrata is growing. I mean, for one, they've flipped to Catholicism, and they don't hate us anymore. So we might just be able to sneak in and flip that culture on them, and then eventually get them back to being happy and loyal, and with that land essentially cored for down the road. Meaning, we could also feel free to add all of these exterior locations to them, get them to flip them. Pike and shot also at a 26% spread now. We could embrace, but no, not under this situation. We have a new law, education of the elites. For me, this is such an easy choice. Education of the people, plus 5% literacy rate for all pops, or at least the four main groups, right? And that's going to drastically, especially the peasants one, drastically increase our research rate long term. Clergy, they top out at 75% right now. So dropping them to 70% does hurt the modifier just a little bit, but only slightly. I think it's a 2.5% knockoff where we're going to pick up a 5% gain across the board. So it's a good trade-off. 2.5% research speed bonus ultimately. And the nobility, okay, yeah, that's a little trade-off. We'll have to watch out for that one. But also moving to innovative and humanist makes perfect sense for me. We just picked up an extra 10 ducats a month in building maintenance costs with lands we just took. We might have to eliminate some of those buildings, but let's give it just a little bit of time to see what we get additionally. Oh, Mistraha is loyal, so they're going to join us. Tunisian rebellion dealt with to the benefit of 204 ducats. Didn't take me too long to deal with it either. As for what's next in terms of rebellions, yeah, there's not much coming. We only have a single one above 50%. The Mozabites, it's a fairly small rebellion. They're at just 81 and gaining fairly slowly. 4 of the other 6 are either stable or in decline. One of them is at a 0.07. The Chawi Patriots, which include a lot of the new lands that we just took, they've been around for a really long time. They weren't going anywhere, but now they are rapidly going somewhere. So that's very much the probably Annaba lands, or maybe the south. Oh, it's okay. It's a lot of the land we just took off of, well, really both of them. Previously, it was just this land right here. I'm a few years early, about 6 years early on our 50-year run, but that was a lot. It took me multiple days just to get through this one episode, and at this point, I think I'm going to try something, and hopefully I follow through with it. We'll see. Otherwise, it would be the end of this series. But the try something is I'm going to try to stream the editing work that goes in, the recording time. Like I said, it's took me 3 different mega sessions and many hours just to get through 47 years, or 46.9 years. This mod, for one thing, is challenging. And that's why I like it, right? It's a different experience. It's a different playthrough. Different nations emerge. I felt like we had a real opportunity, but when we found ourselves behind because of the market, and then what I have discovered in conquering all these foreign lands, just how bad it has been for our discipline and the integration and assimilation rates, as we do not have a real strong culture. We almost would have been better off adopting one of the cultures there in North Africa once you get it all conquered. But oh wait, even that has not happened at this stage. The vassal thing is definitely working wonders to make that situation better. Misrata now loyal, right? We have the two choices of either flipping the culture on them, which is going to make them disloyal again for a while, but would do us a world of good long term, or setting up another vassal, keeping them loyal, and wait for that one to be loyal before we then go and flip the culture on Misrata. In the short term, that would mean we could give them more land so that they can get at least the religion flipped over time while they're loyal and able to supply us with troops in the region. More and more, though, that central North African corridor is nearly under our control, outside of what we have from Venice. The West was definitely something I was keeping my eye on, and we didn't get very far with, thanks to Morocco just being too big, too strong. And so we're going to have to break out a different way, and that's really going to be through exploration. But my attempt to push into West Africa through central means is getting cut off by Morocco. Canem is one pathway forward, but it's not going to take long for Morocco to get in and then eventually cut me off from it even, which would be a real problem if we ever lose it. But we'll try to, for now, get in and see what we can get off of Canem, and maybe at the very least we could pull some maps, especially some coastal ones, which could open us up to colonization to finally bypass and get around. So that could be a fantastic option. Or we get our launch pad into going after a Songhai, Tad Mecca, and maybe, just maybe, we can make nice with Morocco. We're only slightly weaker than Morocco. We have a very similar population now. We've almost caught them. Our economy is definitely a ways behind, but not as far as it used to be behind. But they got 36,000 levies. They haven't had very many conflicts. They've been able to do things through colonization for the most part, as they've had this strong economy from the get-go. They were the center of their market, and that market fed well, and they were able to absorb the couple small nations around them early on, and then just grow. They have no regulars, though, so there's a chance. We're way behind militarily, though, so we would really need to make nice. And right now they don't hate us too much. Do not hate us too much, so it might not be a bad idea to try to make nice with Morocco. And if we can have that military access, then we have our pathway to being successful in West Africa. But I think I'm going to try to stream on a Wednesday next week. On a Wednesday, I'm planning to stream for about 6 hours, maybe 8, but probably about 6 hours, continuing on here where we're at right now. It's going to do it for this episode. Let me know in the comments below if you are down for that, if you're looking to check out that stream. This series already has a small number of viewers anyway, and the stream continual may or may not pay off as a channel, but I love this game and I want to continue on. But it is also time to start moving in another direction and bring in some other games and viewers, and this is just so time consuming. If I can keep it to one day a week, that's probably not a bad thing. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.